what we're going to show you now is the center the center dashboard, which is really around a scenario again where everyone has a boss. So it didn't matter how senior I was, I had to walk into a meeting and I had to give some sort of performance indication of how our products and services are running. And what we wanted to do was introduce the concept of segmentation in real time. I wanted to be able to answer questions around who are buying our products. I wanted to understand more around where are people spending their money. I wanted to understand where are they spending their money, actual locations of where that transaction is taking place. And one of the things that we very quickly learned, you call it EPOS here, we call it FPOS back home, but these data sets exist. And the banks have access to them, they just don't know what to do with them, or they don't know how to segment them, or they don't know how to kind of really generate as much value out of that data as they possibly can. And so what we've done here in this set is try to answer some specific questions around who is engaging with us, where are they engaging with us from, what time of day. So think of this as the type of queries that a manager might have of the people working for them, just around what's happening in my business. So these are business KPIs reimagined in the lookaway. So over to you, Paddy.
Cheers. So we've reimagined this bank manager and business manager conversation, and I'm going to dive into the demo. But just before I jump in there, we've deliberately added a couple of different Looker features here, some custom visualizations and drills in order to give you a breakdown of how people are spending their money, because obviously we're talking about finance here. We've got some spreadsheet level transactions that are going on behind the scenes in Looker, and these are completely configurable. So if you did want to do other calculations, you could edit the dashboard and change them. And the Looker Explore functionality also, you could dive in and you can have a look at individual fields and dimensions and have a look at people who are spending in the entire EPOS data set. So I'm going to jump over to the dashboard now. And you can see at the top, we've defined a couple of filters, some demographic filters, and we've actually got suburbs of London to be able to filter down to, because we're specifically looking at a branch in London and therefore businesses that bank at this branch in London. And we've also got a filter to look at different time frames as well, which will be more explanation later. So the first visualization we've got at the top here is a breakdown of the amount of spend in various regions and suburbs in London. Looker allows us to draw the KML straight onto a map here, and you can see that the darker shading actually corresponds to more spend at that business in those areas and suburbs. We've obviously got the average spend and the sum of the total spend coming from the customers associated with this business. And there's other KPIs. For example, we can have a look at how many people are doing card payments at the business. Do those people generally do online payments, or do the people that use that business often generally take cash and pay in cash at that business? Down the bottom, we've got some visualizations to also show how people are spending across categories and also across time. So on the left here, we've got an idea of how much people are spending per category. So right at the top here, we've actually got dining, but it looks like the largest amount of spend of this segment of customers is being made in groceries, and then seconded to dining, utilities, then travel. And you can see this scatter plot as well that we've added on top of this, which allows us to actually get an idea of how much people are spending relative to the last month. So we've got the last month down here, and we're doing a calculation to basically say this time last month, people were actually spending this much on groceries. We can actually get some real-time information on the rate of change at which people are spending. We can also dive in, and Looker allows us to add pop-ups to drill into information. So for example, we can drill into transactions and have a look at the list of transactions associated with our dining category calculation and scroll through them like so. And we can also dive in and we can get a similar visualization to the one we've got on the right here of a timeline for how people are actually spending money in a dining category. And on the right here, obviously, is a visualization of the total amount that people are spending and their distribution across a month. You can see that people tend to spend larger amounts in the middle of the month than compared to the weekends by the looks of it. And we can also update this and have a look at the change, the distribution of spend on a weekly basis rather than a monthly basis. You'll see changing the filter updates, everything similar to the previous demo. We can see we're only the first day into the week so far, and on the right here, we're overspending on pretty much everything based compared to last week. And just to talk to what's going on behind the scenes here, obviously you're now dealing with EPOS data. There's a high priority for security, so therefore you may want to host this data on premises. ETL, just an aggregate version, or you could link Looker, a private instance of Looker, directly to your on-premises data set. And also, it's important to note that we're using some other data sources here that may require an ETL to do API calls to pick up this EPOS data from MasterCard and American Express.